So what you are going to see during this episode of RTO Insights is a chart that the Public Relations Committee developed, and it's called the Big 9 Benefits of RTO. It compares RTO transactions with credit card transactions, with cash sales in retail stores, and with purchases on Craigslist. The 9 categories that are treated on the chart briefly are brand names, new and in stock in the store. Number 2, you can return the property at any time without penalty. Number 3, flexible payment terms. Number 4, your performance during the transaction will not affect your credit. Number 5, free delivery and free pickup. Number 6, free repairs while you are engaged in the transaction. Number 7, you can upgrade to the newest technology with no penalty. Number 8, you can try it before you buy it. And number 9, there's no debt. So let's go back and take a look at each of these briefly. First, what kinds of transactions out in the marketplace make brand names, new and in stock, available to consumers? Rent-own does. So do credit cards. You can go to any of the big retailers and make a direct purchase of new goods with a credit card. You can go into a retail store and write a check or pay cash or pay with a money order. They've also got new products in stock. Craigslist does not. If you're buying on Craigslist, chances are good to excellent that you're buying used. So in that first category, RTO, credit cards, and retail all have that characteristic. Second characteristic is that you can return the property at any time, no penalty. Only RTO has that characteristic. If you buy something on a credit card, you bought it, you own it, that's all there is. If you go to a retail store and you pay cash, write a check, give them a money order, you bought it, you own it. Ordinarily, you can't change your mind and give it back. Few exceptions. There are some specialty retailers, Land's End, Eddie Bauer, LL Bean, that proclaim in their marketing materials that lifetime satisfaction, if you're ever dissatisfied with the product you have bought from us, we'll take it back and give you a full refund. I haven't tested that, so I don't know for sure. But that is certainly not the case with most retailers, certainly not the case with most electronics, and absolutely not the case with furniture. You're not going to be able to sit on a sofa for a year and then give it back and get all your money back. I promise. The ability to return the product at any time with no further penalty, without any penalty, is available only through rent-to-own. It's not available on a credit card. It's not available at retail. It's not going to be available on Craigslist. Third characteristic, flexible payment terms. Ordinarily in an RTO store, you can pay by the week, you can pay by the month, you can pay bi-weekly, you can pay semi-monthly, and in midstream you can change your mind and go from monthly to weekly if you need to. You can go from weekly to semi-monthly. There are flexible payment terms. That is somewhat the case with a credit card. You can, after all, if you run up a debt on your credit card, you can pay it down in whatever amounts you choose with a minimum payment, or you can just pay interest only in some cases. So that's a feature of credit cards and rent-own. It's not a feature of a cash sale because you've bought it and you paid for it. There are no terms. It's not a feature of Craigslist. You're going to have to probably pay cash. You may not even be able to write a check on Craigslist when you're dealing with a complete stranger. They may not take your check, and maybe they shouldn't. Fourth characteristic, it won't affect your credit. That is, if you can't keep up payments on an RTO agreement, you can give the property back and nothing bad happens to you. If, on the other hand, you have run up debt on a credit card and you don't make credit card payments, you're going to get dinged at the credit reporting agencies. They're going to turn you in, they're going to report your bad payment history, and it's going to hurt your credit. It won't really affect a cash sale in a retail store if you've gone in and paid cash or written a check. I suppose if you write a hot check, that's going to affect your credit. But if you paid cash in a retail store, if you paid cash on Craigslist, that's not going to affect your credit. And so the fact that the transaction, what happens during the transaction doesn't affect your credit, exists in the RTO agreement, exists in retail cash sales, exists on Craigslist. Free delivery and setup is a feature of most rent-to-own companies. They offer that as part of the deal. That ordinarily is not the case with credit card transactions. That ordinarily is not the case in a retail store, and that ordinarily is not the case on Craigslist. Amazon will deliver free, especially if you have Amazon Prime, and they'll deliver it quickly. And they may drop it on your front porch with a drone, but they won't set it up. It's going to come in a box. You're going to have to open the box and figure out what to do. RTO companies are specialized in service. That's one of the things that they are selling. And they're going to come with a big screen TV. They're going to unpack it. They're going to put it where you want it in the house. They're going to plug it in. They're going to make sure it works. And they're going to explain the features and benefits of that product so that you can get the best use out of it. You may or may not get that kind of service from a retailer. Perhaps a good retailer, a high-end retailer will give you that kind of service. Low-end retailer, the cash and carry guys are not going to give you that service. If you buy it with a credit card on the internet, you're not going to get that kind of service. And if you buy it on Craigslist, you certainly are not going to get that service. You're going to have to go pick it up somewhere and carry it home yourself. Free repair is a feature of RTO transactions. It is a requirement in 9 states that rental dealers have a legal obligation to keep the property in good repair while the customer is renting it. But most other states, in most other states, rental dealers are also assuming that responsibility. That is not the case with a credit card transaction. That is not the case with a cash sale. They're going to want to sell you an extended service contract to get more money out of you. Service during the life of the rental agreement is included in the rental rates for an RTO transaction. Craigslist, you're buying as is, where is, and good luck. So you're certainly not going to get any kind of repair service from a Craigslist seller. Free upgrades to the newest technology. Once again, RTO offers that feature that if you've got a laptop and you want to upgrade your laptop, you can go back to the store, you can negotiate with the store, get some credit for payments you've made on the old computer, and start renting the new computer. That's not going to happen with a credit card purchase. That's not going to happen in a retail store. Once you've bought it, you own it. That's certainly not going to happen on Craigslist. You buy it, you hope it works. And if you need another one, you're going to have to find another Craigslist seller. One of the great sales pitches that RTO came up with very early on, try it before you buy it. That is to say, you can go into the rental store, you can eye the big screen TV, you can rent it for a week, take it home, see if it's the right size, see if it's the right shape, see if it fits in your nook. And if it does, you can go back to the store or pick up the phone, call them, and buy it with an early purchase option. You really ordinarily can't do that with a credit card sale. You can't do that with a cash sale. You can't do that on Craigslist. Once you bought it, you own it. And you hope that you bought the right one. And if you didn't, you get to live through buyer's remorse, which we all know and don't love. Finally, there's no debt in an RTO transaction. You're renting the property. You are paying in advance to use the property. And so you never go into debt. It's one of the great features of the RTO transaction and colors some of these other benefits that nothing bad is ever going to happen to your credit based on what you've done in an RTO store. That's also the case with a cash sale. That's also the case with a Craigslist transaction. There's obviously no debt with those. Those are cash sales. With a credit card, if you pay your balance off every month, there's no debt. But if you don't, there is. The big 9 benefits, when we show people that have never done RTO this chart, it does away with a lot of the misunderstandings and a lot of the resistance to giving RTO a try.